Hey guys, so what's up? Welcome back to the channel, Lexi's Leukemia Warriors. We are the Garners. I'm Jenna, and as promised, your next video is actually just a few hours after the one we just posted where she was riding the mini car. So, as promised, we are going to show you how Lexi takes her medicine at night. So when I say that Lexi takes her medicine every night, what I actually mean is that Lexi takes chemotherapy every night. She is at the stage of her chemotherapy that is called long-term maintenance. So for the first 8 months of her treatment, she was going for weekly chemotherapy through her port that's in her chest, through IV, as well as having spinal taps where they inject a chemotherapy called methotrexate into her spinal fluid. And she's had lots of different types of IV chemotherapy. She's had vincristine, methotrexate, cyclophosphamide, RSC. And some of the chemotherapy that she takes is actually oral chemotherapy that she takes at home. And so now that we are in long-term maintenance, the IV and lumbar puncture into her spinal fluid, that type of chemotherapy slows down to monthly. And the other chemotherapy she has to take daily. So the first chemotherapy that she has to take is this lovely, nasty gray liquid called mercaptopurine, or 6-MP for short. And she will take this daily throughout the 2 years of her maintenance. So she's set to finish her maintenance therapy in the fall, and she has had to take this every day unless she's been on a hold for low counts. Because it happens to be Wednesday, she also has to take another liquid chemotherapy called methotrexate that she only takes on Wednesdays that she did not get a lumbar puncture, because her monthly chemos now are on Wednesdays, and that's when she gets the lumbar punctures every 3 months. So they don't want her to overdose on methotrexate. So she gets 2 chemotherapies at night, as well as she does a liquid melatonin to help her sleep because of all the anxiety that comes along with cancer and its treatment, and all the medication that gets put in her body. It's kind of hard for her sometimes to sleep at night. So the first thing I do to get ready is I go ahead and we use a liquid melatonin that comes in a dropper, so it's much easy to administer. So I get that ready to go. And then I have these syringes. We go through tons of syringes, and we use these all the time. We cannot throw away these syringes in the trash. Actually, I can show you her bucket. Hang on. So this is actually Lexi's hazardous bucket. It is her chemotherapy, that is considered a biohazard. And so it's got a little flap here. So we cannot put anything that has chemotherapy in it, like her medicine bottles, like the empty ones, or her syringes in the regular trash, because that is biohazard. Any residue that's left, we can't rinse it down the sink. You don't want that in the groundwater. You don't want that in your pipes, to be quite honest. So we have to be extra careful. So I have 2 different kinds of syringes. I have 3 ml syringes and 5 ml syringes. And honestly, the cheapest place I found to get them is on eBay. I found people who sell them still sealed in the plastic, but they've taken bulk boxes and broken them down. Even Amazon is actually more expensive than eBay. So for today's medicine, I'm actually going to use a 3 ml syringe and a 5 ml syringe. We try to save the 5 ml syringes and only use them on Wednesdays because of the amount of methotrexate that she needs. Otherwise, we can get by with the 2 ml syringes for the daily use. So with the mercaptor purine, it is a suspension. So it does need to be shaken up a little bit, but the trick is to not shake it up too much because you do not want a lot of air bubbles whenever you do it. So what they taught us to do is to kind of pull it back a little bit, and then you're going to get some big air bubbles on the side there, and you're supposed to push it back in. And then you kind of do that until you don't see as many air bubbles coming out. And then on this one, she gets 2 mils because she's tiny. And then I'll double check it, looking for air bubbles. Sometimes you can tap it and some of those will kind of float away. Once you think you've got it all, you turn it upside down and you pull it out. And so this is we call this purple. It's kind of a purpley gray color. So we call this purple for her, and that's what she knows as purple is 6MP. So you've got to be really careful when doing that. If she were older and I had to crush tablets or something, you're not really supposed to touch it with your hands. So if anything spills, I have to immediately wash my hands, or I can wear gloves. I don't choose to wear gloves because I don't normally have a spill. Now this glass bottle here is her methotrexate, and it is a little different. It's got a different top on it because it's a lot smaller, so it doesn't fit a regular stopper. So we get this medicine directly from the hospital that she goes to. Most pharmacies don't have a chemo hood, so you have to find a specialty pharmacy that can compound liquid chemotherapies, or that can even order in tablet chemotherapy for that matter. So this is the methotrexate, as I said, and we have to use the 5 ml syringe for this one because she gets 4.4 mils of this. So same thing as before. Pull it back a little bit and then push it in. You are trying to basically, because the way this top is made, it just usually gets a big air bubble up at the top. So now I think I finally got that air bubble to go away. And she needs 4.4 mils. And a bunch of air bubbles got through. So we're going to pull it back again. Because the idea is the more air bubbles there are, the less chemo she gets, because air bubbles means that not all the liquid got in there. So I'm going to pull it down a little slower. This one gets really vacuum sealed tight the way this top is made. So like if I let go of it, it just starts sliding back down. So you really have to like watch it. And this one is just a regular liquid. It doesn't actually need shaken at all. You're not supposed to shake it. But we do have to keep this one in the refrigerator, whereas the mercaptor purine, the 6MP, is shelf stable. So we don't keep that in the refrigerator. And then you just pull it out like this very carefully. And then you have 4.4 mils. All right, so I drew up her medication into the syringes, and I'm going to put it all back. And I thought I would show you where we keep her syringes. So her syringes are right here in this box. And then I have this little 3-drawer clear plastic cart that just sits right here on the counter. And I use this for all of her meds. Her daily meds are up here. Extra face mask, numbing cream for her port, and then down here is all of her extra meds and as needed meds, like if she has nausea. And then the 6MP is going to go back in the fridge, and I'm going to grab Lexi so that she can take her meds. Okay, so I've got Lexi here, and we're going to take her medicine. And I think the hardest part of the medicine is not only how it tastes, but actually all the food restrictions, right, Lexi? Because it's hard not to eat. So with the mercaptopurine purple, as we call it, the 6MP, she cannot eat 2 hours before taking the medicine and an hour after taking the medicine. So basically, we have to stop all food sometime between 7 and 8. We try to stop at 7 and then give the meds at 9, and then if she's still hungry, she can eat again at 10 because it's a crazy schedule. You think, why wouldn't she be in bed at 10? But sometimes this medicine can make you an insomniac, hence the melatonin. But same with the methotrexate on Wednesdays, we give it all at the same time. She can't have any food with it. The only thing she's allowed to have to drink with it is plain water. Acidic foods and milk are a no-go because they can hinder the absorption of the 6MP, so it says. And any type of food, I mean, some studies say yes, some studies say no. Our hospital prescribes to no food 2 hours prior and an hour after taking the meds. So Lexi is getting to be a big girl now, and we're learning to take our medicine without needing any bribes or anything like that, and she's doing much better at it now that we've given her more freedom. So we allow her to choose which one she would like to take first. So Lexi, we have your nighttime yummies, we have purple, and we have yellow. Which one would you like to take first? You want the nighttime yummies? And what I normally do is help her grab it. Go ahead. Open your mouth wide. And in we go. All right, let's see if you got it all. And you did. Good job. And she squeezed that all by herself. The only reason I really help her with the melatonin is because it really likes to like slide off that dropper and can make a mess on her clothes. Great job. Do you need to drink it all? She loves to, sometimes she'll switch it down with water in between if she really needs it. Other times she'd just rather get it all over with. Is that good? You're doing so good. All right, so all we have left now, Lexi, are purple and yellow. Yellow is what we call methotrexate because clearly it looks yellow. So you get to choose which one would you like to take next. Purple? Okay. And she can do purple all by herself. So she's going to put it in her mouth. Good job. And she did that all by herself.
Yeah, sometimes I just do it.
Yeah, sometimes you just do it all by yourself, don't you? Sometimes you need that drink, don't you? I think a drink is definitely necessary. We had to get over a huge hurdle with meds. In Frontline, the first 8 months of treatment, meds did not taste good. Her taste was changing.
Yeah,
She used to say that yellow was yummy, and she does not say that anymore. Her taste has changed, and she doesn't think it tastes good anymore. But she will still take it, and she was excited to show you what a big girl she is. And she wanted to film a video of her taking the medicine so she could hopefully maybe help some other kid out there who might be struggling to take their medicine. Lexi's a big girl, and she's just turning 4 in April, this April.
Yeah.
So she's still technically 3. And she can take her medicine like a big girl. So if Lexi can do it, if you're out there watching, you can too. All right, Lexi. Do it a little bit at a time if you need to. The methotrexate is actually 4.4 mils, right? Like I said before. So we usually just do like a little bit at a time. When I did it, I was doing it like a mil at a time until I got down to that 1.4, and then I would just do the rest of it. So Lexi just kind of squirts in a little bit at a time and then takes it out and does a little bit more until she has it all washed down, because it does not taste good, does it? And she'll swish the water to try to get that taste out of her mouth. All right. Doing good. Doing good. So I'd say she probably has maybe 2.5 mils left to go or so. She's doing a good job. Good job, kiddo. That's the last of it. You did it. So as you can see, that's the last of the methotrexate. So she did it. She's a big girl, and she did it all by herself. Now, we will have another video about meds for you when it comes time for her chemo that she gets every 3 months through her port and her lumbar puncture. She actually has to go on a week of high-dose steroids. And so that's a pill that we taught her to swallow. And yes, there are ways to teach your kid to swallow pills at 3 years old. I will do the video about that. And she also has to take an antacid for her stomach because gabapentin is what you took for your legs when you got neuropathy from the vincristine chemo. The antacid you take is the generic version. You're not taking it anymore, and the generic version of the antacid, Pepsid, is what she takes, and that is what helps her little tummy not get eaten up by these high doses of steroids. The steroid is dexamethasone. It's like the worst steroid out there. So, but that'll be for another video, won't it?
Yeah.
All right. So, what do we want to tell everybody?
Hit the like button in this one.
That's right. If you like these videos, or if you want to see more of them, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and you can see more of what goes on in our household with our daughter who is going through a leukemia journey. So hopefully we can use this channel to spread a little awareness about pediatric cancer. It's not as rare as you think. So, bye.